السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Inshallah, we are ready to listen to our friend Anne to summarize what we have done last week, where we are coming from, where we are going in our studies. So,
Inshallah. So we talked last week about the third remark,
yeah.
the 23rd word, and the focus was on our relationship to the universe. And Brother Ali started the discussion by talking about, well, in regards to the text, but talking about how the universe speaks through the prophets, and the universe itself is a revelation demonstrating the maker's qualities. It's not just to satisfy our bodily needs. Therefore, that is the reason why the universe is so special and needs to be preserved. It helps me understand my life, why I am here. In fact, through the universe, I am in continuous conversation with my creator. And then beautifully, the text talks about how man is a guest. Man is an honored traveler in this hostel of the world. He is a guest of one so generous that infinite treasuries of mercy have been opened to him. We do not, sorry. So the emphasis on the guest and how we treat the universe as a guest and how we treat our creator in that guest relationship. We do not meet our host in this world, but in the hereafter, where we are treated the way we deserve. For example, were we a good guest or not? Did we thank the host or not? Were we grateful or not? Did we develop our spirit or not? And Brother Ali pointed out how most people, even once, don't question who they are in this world. People don't even once ask, what am I doing here? And this text is important because it helps answer those questions. In regards to being a good guest, that Nursi also talks about and this is a quote, all the members, systems, and faculties given him will testify against him at the resurrection and will bring a suit against him. So to build on that, to elaborate on that, Brother Ali added to the text from Surah 41, ayat 20 to 21. which essentially says, to paraphrase, my eye is a tool, like a telescope, but my spirit is the one who's using that tool. If my spirit doesn't use my tools, like given to me by my creator, such as my eyes, my ears, my skin, they will testify against me at the resurrection. So my last note says that, in essence, God gave speech to everything. And the question is, are we listening? And so that's the conclusion I have for last week.
How are we? Thank you very much. Great introduction. How are we going to respond to it, to what is conveyed to us through the creation of the universe? Inshallah, we will work on it. And shall we just, with a beautiful summary, there is no, I have nothing to add to it.
Yeah, we could just jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. Moreover, all the members and systems given to man will be happy with him and testify in favor of him in the hereafter. For sure, all the wonderful faculties given to men were not for this insignificant worldly life, but for an everlasting life of great significance. For if we compare man with the animals, we see that man is very rich in regard to faculties and members, 100 times more so than the animals. But in the pleasures of worldly life and in animal life, he falls 100 times lower. For in each pleasure he receives is the trace of thousands of pains, the pains of the past and fears of the future, and the pain at each pleasure's passing. Spoil the enjoyment to be had from them, and leave a trace in the pleasure. But animals are not like that. They receive pleasure with no pains. They take enjoyment with no sorrow. Neither the sorrows of the past cause them suffering, nor the fears of the future distress them. They live peacefully and offer thanks to their Creator.
Now, would you like to make a comment on it? Anyone?
Well, I like the underlying part where it says, for each pleasure he receives is a trace of thousands of pains. It's like in this world, you can't have pleasure without the pain. Unless we recognize that the universe can never ever satisfy our infinite needs. So we always have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Quran, I remember your comment remind me a verse, an ayah from the Quran, which says in section and the sixth section of the Quran, which says, we have given you the quality to recognize basira in Arabic. We have given you the quality to recognize the truth, and also the Quran, which is which shows what the truth is. And if someone doesn't use his human qualities to acknowledge it and turn blind to it, makes it himself, herself blind to it, then he doesn't see anything. He doesn't realize his reality, the reality of creation, the reality of existence. He doesn't. I mean, I have to go back and search for it. Let me see if there is anything. Well, let me create a wide inward cleanse this trace of pain. Now, this is a good question, but okay. Since I interrupted, does returning back, Muawiyah, our friend says, does returning back to our purpose, it means recognition of the creator via the universe. Very good, very good. Cleanse these traces of pain. Now, that is what the text says, and we will talk about it, how it does. If you want to make further comment afterwards, you are most welcome. Yeah. So when we turn blind to our reality, the reality of creation, then we reduce ourselves to bodily existence. When I say only that I exist bodily, what I do, I ignore my human reality. I want everything perfect, satisfied, enjoyment. But if I say I am just a body and my body is working and it is automatically uh, happen to be, again, meaninglessly happen to be that it became into existence, it became alive, again, for no reason, it became accidentally like this. And then, but it didn't really, it couldn't perfect itself, so that I have to die. It means disappear from existence, and there will be nothing. Now, this person may not feel this, as this underlined section says, and also emphasized on the importance of it. Each pleasure he receives is the trace of thousands of pains. Why? Why doesn't he feel this pain that everything he has, we human beings have, disappears. And nothing is really perfectly satisfying me. Why do I not feel it? There's some people, or myself, when I am not aware of it, I just say, okay, it is gone. Forget about it. Don't think about it. But we have to keep our human side always alive so that we will understand, look, I don't want this pleasurous moment to pass away, but it does. And I feel pain. Where is it gone? I want to have it. I want to have it. We will study in the following paragraphs this desire of I want to have it, I want to have it, is the only way I can realize the truth. That is how I am. I need full satisfaction, but I cannot get it. So how come I have this feeling and how can I satisfy it since I have it? I cannot have it satisfy these endless desires, perfect desires, and then I have to look for solution. What or who can satisfy it? But if I reduce myself to only bodily existence, ignore my human reality and say that I'm going to disappear anyways. But defining itself in terms of body, looks at the graveyard, look, they are rotten. I will be like one of them. I won't be aware of it. Are they aware of it? No. So they may not temporarily feel this pain, but it doesn't disappear. They may not practice it always, but it doesn't disappear. It is with us. From time to time, it just forces itself out and makes us realize that this is not true. But we have free will to shut it down or ignore it, lose this side of human beings. Otherwise, everyone who doesn't really believe in the Creator and define his existence in terms of the Creator and believes in the hereafter, and they feel that they exist in the presence of their Creator, that He is continuously creating me now. Everyone should either enjoy this pleasure that my Creator is taking care of me now, or pain. But there is no such black and white life. But we are talking here in theoretical terms. If I am honest within myself, honest to myself, then I will realize that if I don't explain myself, if I don't accept that my existence belongs to an absolute being who is the owner of the universe, if I accept this, I will have the full enjoyment in this world because I will put my trust in Him. He is the one who created this need within me. And through these needs, He is inviting me to communicate with Him. The previous passage that we read last week and beautifully reminded us, I am the guest of the hostel of this world, this universe. So my host knows it. My host knows that tomorrow I will need a dinner. Oh, he takes care of it. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to fix my dinner, not in this sense. At the existential level, He is the one who is giving me. I am the one who's asking for it. So the guest always asks. But if the guest doesn't acknowledge the host, what does he do? He tries to satisfy himself. And this paragraph says, in this case, he will suffer a lot. But people, practically speaking, don't seem to be suffering this pain. Thousands of pains. No, they don't seem to be. We have to understand why they don't, and why also when I ignore my reality, I don't feel the pain. Why? So this is the real question, and we have to have the answer. Now we can go back to Muawiyah's comment. Does returning back to our purpose, the real, our reality, recognition of the Creator via it is creation, the universe, cleanse these traces of pain. When I am aware of it, it does. When I am not aware of it, it has two options. If I am aware of my human reality, I know will be able to save myself from pain. Unless I dump myself, it means ignore, reject, deny my human senses. That is why materialist mind has to accept that everything consists of only matter. Why? Only through this theory, this understanding that they can not feel the pain. It is not really they are explaining, they are interpreting how the universe is existing. In reality, everyone is interpreting his or her reality. If I say, oh, this happened, accident happens, what does it mean? I want to see it in this way. Don't take notice of why does it happen? Why did it happen? What is the lesson for me? No, that is why, if, for example, if I say, oh, the things happen by themselves like this, it means I am just like this as I am. That's it. There is no purpose in my existence. So everybody, I think this point is important. Everybody, including myself, reflects my own understanding of my own self, on reflects my own understanding on the interpretation of the rest of the universe. Everything happens to me. That is why we have to look at ourselves first. We have to think of ourselves, who we are, what we are in this world. And then, how can I see the universe? Is easy. Just explain myself. As our friend said, through the creation, the recognition of the creator via the universe. I took it now because of the sequence of our subject through via my own existence. However I interpret my existence, it will be extended to my interpretation of the universe. That is why I don't think and I don't believe those people say that the universe is nothing but consists of matter. It means he is himself, seeing himself. I am nothing but consists of my material side of my body. That's it. That is why he wants to interpret the universe, and he justifies it like this, very simple. If I am just body, and the universe is also just body, material body. Since I don't have any feelings and human side, as far as existential side of is concerned, I have feelings, but they don't really acknowledge that my existence consists of two elements. One is my body, the other one is my feelings, which require infinite satisfaction, perfect, infinite satisfaction. They don't say it. They say, oh, it happened however, I acquired these feelings from the influence of my family background. That's what they say. And my environment, the civilization that I am living with. So if I change my living conditions or the society and go to another place, I will be under the influence of another society. These are temporary effects on our feelings. They don't really change our reality, which looks and needs perfect, infinite satisfaction. But practical side may adapt itself to the environment, but reality is there. Any question or comment? Any concern? Otherwise, we can continue.
Okay. This means that if man, who is created on the most excellent of patterns, restricts his thought to the life of this world, he falls 100 times lower than a creature like a sparrow, although he is higher than the animals. I explained this fact in another place by means of a comparison. It is related to this, so I shall repeat it here. It was like this.
Okay, would you like to just uh, continue reading and see what this analogy will teach us?
A man gave one of his servants 10 pieces of gold and told him to have a suit of clothes made in a particular cloth. Then to a second one, he gave 1,000 pieces of gold, and putting in the servant's pocket a note on which certain things were written, sent him to a market. The first servant bought an excellent suit of the finest cloth with the 10 pieces of gold, while the second servant did not use his head, and looking at the first servant and not reading the account note in his pocket, he gave the 1,000 pieces of gold to a shopkeeper and asked for a suit of clothes. The dishonest shopkeeper gave him a suit of the very worst quality cloth.
Mhm.
And the wretched servant returned to his lord and received a severe reprimand and a terrible punishment.
This is the analogy. I think let's see, with my comment only here, putting in the servant's pocket means servant's spirit, heart, mind, feeling, this side. Spirit actually, ruh. So this ruh is limitless, wants eternal satisfaction in every sense. But if we just spend it in this world and use it just temporarily petty things here for my bodily satisfaction, that is what the analogy tells us so far.
Well, this is a beautiful analogy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second servant essentially squandered,
Mm-hmm.
and it's obvious he squandered all the 1,000 pieces of gold, and on top of it was cheated because he didn't listen to his spirit, heart, mind, and feelings. So, like us, if we don't use our 1,000 pieces of gold in our pocket, then we're also going to be like the second servant and suffer.
Yeah. Just cheat ourselves.
Keep
Excellent.
ourselves. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think we can continue. Then it is easy, I thought. So we can understand better, inshallah. No.
Yes. Thus, even the most unintelligent will understand that the 1,000 pieces of gold given to the second servant were not to buy a suit of clothes, but for some important trade. And
No.
you've added Surah 9, verse Ayah 111. Allah has indeed purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise.
Now to buy uh, buy a suit of clothes, yeah, but perfect one. That's right one. It will, this verse says, I quoted this verses in order to get ready for the following passages. So, إن الله اشترى من المؤمنين أنفسهم وأموالهم بأن لهم الجنة. So we are given all these on 1,000 gold in order to uh, buy, if you like, here's a purchase. God is purchasing us. If you use the tools I gave to you for my sake, in order to understand me, then I will give you paradise. It means if you are honest, if you are honestly using them. Now, it will be explained. I think I shouldn't speak a lot here. But why I quoted this verse, the explanation is based on this verse's message and also human reality out there.
In just the same way, each of the immaterial members and subtle faculties in man have expanded to a 100 times greater than that of the animals. For example, consider faculties and members like man's eyes, which can discern all the degrees of beauty, and his sense of taste, which can distinguish all the varieties of the particular tastes of foods, and his mind, which can penetrate to all the subtlest points of reality, and his heart, which yearns for every sort of perfection. And then consider the extremely simple members of the animals, which have developed only 1 or 2 degrees. There is just this difference, that in animals, a member particular to some function and special to a particular species develops more, but this development is particular.
Not comprehensive.
Yeah, not holistic, not specialized.
Yeah, not comprehensive, not holistic. So all the human qualities or I sees the universe or the created being, and which is given to us, discern all the degrees of beauty, and also human heart, which say what we say human heart, which yearns for every sort of perfection. Now, if I use them on my side, like, I don't know, an animal, let's say, like a sheep. Sheep uses his eyes to see what is good for it. So it is going to eat. And he has also the material taste, tongue, and smells. He does the same thing, like a human body. And if I use my sense of taste just to see which one is better, am I doing anything different from what a sheep is doing? Just to taste the food and say, this is good for me, I can eat it. That's it. Am I doing anything different from a sheep is doing?
No, you're not. You're just
No.
you're just
Yeah.
eating it.
So if I use in the same way, for example, I use my eyes, if I use my eyes only to see what is good for me to eat, to get, to have, if I use my sense of taste only to see this is good for me to eat, I liked it. If I use my mind only not in the way that I'm using, in the way that the text is saying, just the opposite, like an animal. If I use it like animals have eyes, animals have taste, animals have mind, animals have some sort of heart as well. From their behavior, we understand that they are really feeling something. So if I use it like an animal, do I learn anything about the reality and who I am? Or am I just reducing myself to, to an animal life? My life, my reality is like an animal. I'm treating myself as an animal. But we will learn that how are we going to use these members or these faculties that we are given as a human being. Then the text says, use your eyes to discern all the degrees of beauty. There are different beauties are manifested here. What does it mean? And use your taste to distinguish all the varieties of the particular tastes, foods, so that you will understand who is preparing them as a human being. Again, my mind, use your mind to penetrate to all the subtleties, pointing of reality. What does it mean for me? Why is it like this? Question your by using your mind, your heart, every sort of perfection. So consider the extremely no, sorry, here it stops here. Use every sort of perfection. If I use it, I am a human being. But if I don't, and then I will be like the animals and only enjoy their life, and they don't really bother about anything. They are not given the quality to question, to remember the past, and to learn to question the future. So this is a comparison now. How the animals use these organs, how human beings are expected to use it. Did I make any sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's my understanding that the senses that we're given, eyes, taste, touch, smell, are not just for bodily satisfaction, but to recognize the qualities of our creator.
Hmm.
If you don't, if you can't do that, then you're just like an animal.
Yeah. If I don't question why is it like this, what does it mean for me, how come it happened, then it is happening, how come they are there, then I will be reducing if I don't use it. For this, for the purpose of understanding the reality of existence, I will be reducing my life to an animal life. Yeah. Now, shall we continue? The same analogy is going on.
Yes. The reason for man's wealth and regard to faculties is this: by reason of the mind and thought, man's senses and feelings have greatly developed and expanded, and numerous emotions have come into being because of the multiplicity of his needs. And his senses have become extremely diverse. And because of the comprehensiveness of his nature, desires have appeared turned toward numerous aims. And because he has numerous duties due to his nature, his members and faculties have expanded greatly. And since he has been created with a nature capable of performing every sort of worship, he has been given abilities which embrace the seeds of all perfections.
Now, here I think the problem in his sense have become excellent. Now, and because of the comprehensiveness of his nature, desires have appeared numerous aims, comprehensiveness. I think we have to take notice of this comprehensive nature. It goes beyond my bodily needs. Comprehensive nature goes beyond my bodily needs. This must be taken into consideration, I think. So, the human beings have been created with the nature of capable of performing every sort of worship, worshiping the creator of the universe or his creator. He recognizes by using these elements, these faculties in his existence, he recognizes who is preparing them, what he is expected to do in this case. So appreciating it, worship means appreciating it and thanking him, acknowledging him, appreciating him, being thankful to him, grateful to him, and using all the things created for him in his name. So you prepared it for me. I am the guest. You are the owner. You are the host. You gave it to me. I am very grateful to you. So this relationship is understood as worship. Of course, this worship must be performed, for example, by language. For example, just an example. A host brings the breakfast to my room. Can I just have no reflection, no jest in my face, smiling, showing my happiness? This is a kind of acknowledgement, physical way of expressing my acknowledgement. And then with my tongue, these are also included in worship. So I can just intellectually say that, okay, I am here, host is bringing the breakfast, and I do nothing, don't show any communication way with the host. I say, I know the host is bringing to me. Yeah, I know. But the host will say, no, you acknowledge it within yourself, but I created you with your body. I created you with the need to communicate with the owner. That side is worship. We have to express and be in active communication with our Creator through my tongue, through my facial expressions, through my behavior, and also uh, ask the host, why did you bring me here? What are you expecting of me? Do I have to do anything? The host will say, just acknowledge and don't steal anything from my property. He will give the instructions to you. That is the way how to behave in this hostel, in this universe. So this kind of relationship, so for example, when you go to a hotel, you see some instructions. You should not touch this. You should do this. So if you need this one, use this one. For example, instructions. even in a hotel. But how about the universe? Who is going to give me the instruction? The owner of the universe. So taking notes of the instruction and following the instruction is a form of worship. That is why it's called, God says, okay, behave this way. Don't do this. Do this kind of things. Is also apart from acknowledgement only, intellectual acknowledgement only, having a physical relationship with my creator, expressing myself. These are all means of worship. Now, this worship is really important, really important. So let's underline it. So anyone, if not, we can continue.
Let's
Yeah.
continue then.
Yeah.
Thus, this great wealth in faculties and abundant capital was certainly not given for procuring this temporary worldly life. Rather, man's fundamental duty is to perform his duties, which look to innumerable aims, and proclaim his impotence, poverty, and faults in the form of worship, and observing the glorification of beings with a universal eye to bear witness to them, and seeing the instances of the assistance of the most merciful one, to offer thanks, and gazing on the miracles of dominical power in beings, to contemplate on them as objects from which lessons may be drawn.
Now, I think this bolded words means a lot. Would you like to share your feelings? What you got from here? Proclaim
We,
how, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I just wanted to say that in these classes, one of the themes is um, performing the duty of worship, but we've also expanded the concept of worship to not only mean the 5 daily prayers, but worship is expanded to include um, awareness of Allah, expanded to include um, gratefulness for the gifts which He gives us, um, thankfulness for our senses by which we can get to know our Creator. And in order to do that, we have to recognize our impotence, poverty, and faults.
Thank you. So this, what is my fundamental duty? It looks like that it goes against what this civilization offers to us. Feel self-confident. Eh? So self-confidence for human beings are important. So don't really expose your impotence, your poverty, your faults. Try to cover it up. So, but this text says, proclaim his impotence, his poverty, his faults in the form of worship. In the form of worship. Not, I have put the note as you are seeing it on the screen, not into the form of complaints and suffer. Sorry, not in the form of complaint and suffer as the previous text said here. Now they are suffering, he said. Previous text we said. Yeah, now this one. And pain. No, here. In each pleasure he receives is the trace of thousands of pains. Now, let's apply this one. If a guest doesn't acknowledge the host and thinks that accidentally I am offered dinner today, not a conscious host is offering to me. What, yes, he benefits from this dinner, eats it, and says, oh, it's good now. But how about tomorrow? Do you think the chance will bring me again? Because he doesn't acknowledge the host, conscious host, consciously, deliberately prepared dinner by him. That is why the pain is always secretly working. Even he denies it from, how do you say, from behind, as if, for example, I am using this page, but also there are some other things here. They are working there at the background. How do you explain it in the computer language? I don't know. The others are there working. If someone helps me, although I am in this page, no one wants to help me here to explain how it is described in computer science.
But I don't know. You're not talking about the hardware, are you?
No, no. For example, here is my inbox, right? Now, when I go there, you will see it. Now, but I don't go there. I am using this page or whatever you call it, but it is there, active. Although I don't see it. Like this, the pain is there, active, but I keep myself with my worldly benefits. But it is at the background working.
So you cover it up.
Um,
I don't know. I would call it covering it up.
no, isn't there anyone who knows the computer language?
I think we understand without needing the computer language analogy. Like things are working simultaneously, some in the foreground, some in the background.
Yeah. Now it is there at the background, and although we don't really bring it up, we may not bring it up, but it's still there. So he says, rather than turning it into a complaint and suffer, turn it into worship. This transformation is important. Worship means uh, just acknowledging and trusting, obeying the way how I should really behave in this hostel of the universe. The host says, do this, accept it, because I know I have been brought in this world by the host. I didn't come by myself. Somebody brought me, gave me this existence. Somebody wrote something, maybe I didn't notice. All processes are working simultaneously at the background, but I am seeing only the screen. Is it correct? Only I am not interacting with what appears in the screen. Also, at the background, the process, everything is there. Maybe my analogy is wrong. I don't know. Now, fundamental duty is proclaiming his impotence. I cannot create anything. Poverty. I am always in need of every season. All kinds of needs must be prepared. Every day, I need daylight, I need night to rest, and I need sunlight, I need atmosphere. We are all poor, needy, and faults. We are always negligent people. So acknowledge this and be thankful to the Creator that He is providing everything for us. Now, so this is what worship is. So that I will bear witness to what the Creator is presenting to me, the host is presenting to me. So the result is be thankful to Him. Be thankful to Him. He is so merciful, most merciful one. So offer thanks to Him and gazing on the miracles of dominical power in beings, which is look at this. Look at this universe host, which is prepared for me. For example, if you are invited to a house where there's a huge garden, beautiful, whatever. So the host says, oh my, let me take you to the garden and show you what is there for you to entertain. So you go there, look at them, and of course, don't forget to contemplate on them as objects from which lessons may be drawn from the created beings. Contemplate on them and see which kind of host he is, what he is doing, what he can do. He's demonstrating his power to me, his qualities to me. So this is what the worship is. But what is really contradictory, seemingly contradictory to secular civilization, this attitude of worship requires me to proclaim my impotence, my poverty, and my faults, and presents it to my Creator, saying that I am the needy one. You are the generous one. I cannot do anything. Everything is provided by yourself. And I acknowledge it. That's it. I acknowledge it. So I don't really rebel against your will. I obey you. Now, so that's what I have. Let's read this paragraph so that next week we are going to read some exciting comparison. Again, explain what our reality is. That's what we have to learn from here.
But before we continue, could I ask a question?
Of course.
Can we pray to have pain removed?
Yes, how? I mean, if I am not mistaken, you are asking an interesting question. Can we pray to remove the pain? Correct?
Yes, that's exactly my question.
It's very simple.
Not maybe not so much, it's not a complaint, but it's to lessen the pain, at least lessen the pain.
That is the only way the Quran, the revelation, God informs us that Otherwise, we would never know it. We would never know it. It is asking for forgiveness. That's it. God says, guaranteed, I will forgive. Just acknowledge it. Now, here, proclaim, look at this word, proclaim, omit this, my faults in the form of worship. That is called in Islamic terminology, you must have heard of it, istighfar, asking for forgiveness, repentance.
Yes.
Faults, the pain is the result of our faults. But in the positive sense, you are asking, I acknowledge my faults. So, but how can I get rid of it? God says, if you acknowledge it, if you ask me to just remove it, because only I can, no one else can forgive you. I am the only owner of this palace. So you will come to me, I am sorry, host, I am sorry. Last night was I did this, what you didn't want me to do. Please forgive me, because there is no other owner of this host of the universe. That is why Quran says, is there anyone other than the creator, owner, Allah, of who will forgive you? No one, he says. Inna Allah la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant. That is a very beautiful ayah. No one can forgive me. Only my owner, the owner of the universe, can forgive me. So I have to acknowledge my faults and turn to him in the form of worship, ask him, I acknowledge that you are the authority to give forgiveness to me. Please forgive me. That is it. God says, sincerely do this and don't do it again, you are forgiven. So that is the only way to get rid of this pain.
And there's also a very nice comment in the chat box.
Ah,
If you
yeah,
could,
read it, please.
it's from Maria. Maybe he should read it.
No, Muawiyah, yes, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope you guys are able to hear me okay. I think you just actually mentioned it, Brother Ali. I put this a little bit like maybe a few seconds before you said it, but I was saying that the process of that prayer to remove the pain or istighfar, I was asking like, doesn't that necessitate you having to proclaim your impotence, poverty, and faults? But you just mentioned that, so thank you.
Thank you, Muawiyah. Especially this particular word is faults. That is the source of pain. The time is up, I know, but I think we should just read this sentence, the paragraph.
I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah.
O man who worships this world is the lover of worldly life and is heedless of the meaning of the most excellent patterns. The old Said saw the reality of worldly life in a vision. It transformed him into the new Said. You too should listen to it in the form of a comparison.
Now, it is very simple. I am sorry, the time is up. So
I'm sorry, I asked that question, but I couldn't help it.
yeah. Would you like to share it?
Oh, no, the question I had asked about earlier about the removal of pain, and that's a very satisfactory answer. So, in preparation for next week, Nursey will give us another comparison about transforming ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Transformation is needed. We too should make a commitment to transform ourselves and declare a new. I would say Ali, you will say, I am a new Anne or Asim Farah, whoever they are here. So everybody put his name there. So it is not only for the author, it is for us. So we will understand how can we turn ourselves into a person who acknowledges perfectly that I am a guest here only, and I am always in need of my creator. And if I do something wrong, I can turn back to him and say that you are the only one who has the right, who has the authority to forgive, because you are the owner. So how can I ask forgive me for my faults? But in physical terms, it's different. We are talking about existential understanding, appreciation of our faults. It means ignoring our reality and therefore ignoring the reality of our Creator. So in this sense, we have to declare our mistakes, our faults, shortcomings to our Creator, not to other people, to our Creator, sincerely. Other people cannot forgive me. So if I ignore God's grace, how can I ask anyone else, anything else, to please forgive me? So we understand it. It is not difficult to understand. So inshallah, let's see how the author experiences transformation in his life. So we will apply it to ourselves. Thank you very much. Shall we stop it, inshallah?
Yes, yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you joining, thank you being patient. I think we extended time a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really,
it's a really great class. Always. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Everyone.